Back in 2017, when the last generation Honda CR-V was released, I was actually working at a Honda dealership back in high school, and I remember the excitement of the new CR-V. Today I'm out here in Nashville, Tennessee. Honda flew us out here to look at the all-new 2023 Honda CR-V. This one is the EXL with the turbo. So this CR-V in particular is a 2023 CR-V EXL all-wheel drive in radiant red. It's a very pretty color. And look at how big this thing looks. In that camera angle, this thing looks big. But all of these have full LED headlights now, LED daytime running lights, the big pronouncing grille with the Honda logo. Behind the Honda logo is all the Honda sensing technology. Very packed with features on this. Honda also got rid of the LX trim, so the EX is now the base entry, and this is one up from that. So there's two engine options that you could get your 2023 CR-V in, but first we're getting only one of the two for now. The other is the hybrid, which is coming out a little bit later this year, but let's talk about the turbo. So under the hood of the CR-V, turbo is the same engine and transmission from last year. Hood struts are really nice, but this is the same 1.5 liter turbo Earth Dreams 4-cylinder engine. It makes 190 horsepower and 179 pound-feet of torque. This one is all-wheel drive. Now there's something for me and you all-wheel drive nerds that I find cool, is that finally after 25 years, the CR-V is a true all-wheel drive. It can send up to 50% of the power to the rear axle. You also have hill descent control, which is a new feature for the all-wheel drive CR-V. Fuel economy, Honda really hasn't talked about it, but the last CR-V got about 28 to 30 combined. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'm expecting this to be a little bit different. Honda also claims that they've improved the torque curve and the transmission tuning of the CVT. These use a CVT. So we'll see how different it is compared to the last gen in how it drives. So this CR-V may look like a Pilot to you because it is a little bit bigger. It's 1.4 inches longer in wheelbase, 2.7 inches longer in overall length, and 1/4 inch wider. And it is noticeable inside and outside of the car. But since this one is an EXL, you get these 18-inch alloy wheels. They do look nice. They do look more like base spec wheels, like I'd see them on a CR-V LX, but they still are a nice, attractive wheel. And because you have a thick sidewall, the ride will be a little bit better than the 19s on the Sport and Sport Touring. So before I show you the trunk, I did want to talk about a few things that I found interesting about the 6th gen CR-V. First, this all-wheel drive sticker reminds me of the old CR-V's Elements that put the real-time all-wheel drive sticker. It's a nice little throwback instead of a badge. Also, because this is the EXL, there's no exhaust tips that are exposed. That's only on the Sport and Sport Touring. The LED tail lights and brake lights, LED reverse lights, but the turn signals are still incandescent. Me, I'm not that bothered by it, but you tell me in the comments how you feel about incandescent turn signals in 2022. But let's open the trunk. Of course, this has a power tailgate. The beep sounds familiar. You can tell me what it sounds like. So by default, with this floor in its normal position, you have 36 cubic feet of volume. If you want a little bit more, you can drop it like this if it wants to cooperate and get 39 cubic feet of volume. If you fold the second row seats down, which is a 60-40 split, you get 77 cubic feet of volume. Something I notice on this gen compared to the last gen CR-V though, is that there doesn't seem to be any pull hooks, you know, to fold the seats down. So you have to actually push these, which is not bad, but there's, you know, not much else back here. Of course, Honda still gives you a normal, well, donut spare tire in the gas CR-V. The hybrid system, well, the batteries are back here, so you don't have that, but you still have the same amount of cargo volume. All right, so let's get inside. So I've sat in this CR-V last night at the celebration event. Oh, listen to that SI. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is how much more comfortable the rear seat is compared to the last gen. This one, the material is just so much softer, much more premium feeling. The other one, the seat bottom was hard, it was a little bit lower. I like that I have nice thigh support. I have nice legroom. I have 3-4 inches of legroom. I could fit my feet under the seat. The driver's seat is in my driving position and I'm 5'9". If I sit back, I have good headroom because they actually, you know, curved up the ceiling. Something that Honda has been very proud to show is how far the seat reclines. So you can, you know, did I scare you? Nope. Okay. I didn't scare you. Okay, we're going to leave it reclined. But what I'm going to show you is you have an armrest with 2 cup holders that aren't too big. Now, other amenities, LED lighting inside, which is a nice touch, Honda. There's no third climate control, but you do have air vents back here. And the Sport Touring and maybe even some models of the EXL with different packages, that car is loud. You can get USB ports. So let's get away from the noise because it's loud. And let's start it up. The new Honda, you know, startup chime, and then the seat, you know, nicely goes up for me, which is cool. There's a lot to talk about the interior of these new ones, these new CRVs. It's very similar to the 11th gen Civic, which is a good thing because that car has gone up market. But you have a 3-spoke leather wrap steering wheel. On the Sport Touring, it can be heated. All the buttons for the audio and the gauge controls are on the left, and then the cruise control and other Honda sensing things are on the right. But in terms of interior quality, hello Civic Si. I want to review one of those. Click the like button and comment if you want to see a new SI review. But all the interior pieces, this is a pre-production model. It still feels very nice. Everything feels well built as I shake it. But this is a pre-production car, you know, I'm not slipping up, I'm not lacking. But there are also a few other things I wanted to mention that surprised me and that were pleasant to see. First, you have memory for the seat and the mirrors, but of course no power tilt and telescoping wheel. It's manually, if I can find it, over here, you know, telescope and tilt, so you know I'm not lying to you. The front seats are also more comfortable, and the way how Honda has proportioned this new CRV, you have a lot more visibility, so you can see more, so I really appreciate that. But the seats are much more comfortable. On this EXL, you have an 8-way power driver's seat with electric lumbar. These seats are really comfortable. I could go on the highway for hours with this car. But let me talk about the gauges. They're not fully digital like they are in the Civic. Listen to that again. They're going around like many times, which is cool. The gauges are not fully digital. It's only the left side, and you can configure it a little bit. I mean, you can't really configure it. There's just a bunch of different information. I do like that you could see the all-wheel drive torque distribution for this all-wheel drive nerds, because it shows which wheel is getting the most power. I also noticed on the Sport Touring you have automatic wipers, not on this EXL. This is Honda's 9-inch touchscreen display. It's standard on the EXL and the Sport Touring. It's the same infotainment system that's been on, you know, most new Hondas. It's pretty good, pretty snappy. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's not actual physical buttons, but there are some preset buttons that you can go to each little page. Now let's talk about the climate control, which is working very nicely. I'm sorry you're standing in the heat, but you have dual zone climate control. The knobs feel very nice. No heated steering wheel, but you do have heated seats, 3 levels. You cannot get cooled seats in an RDX. Damn it, I thought this was an RDX. You get cooled seats in the RDX, you can't get cooled seats in the CRV. Something else that the RDX has over the CRV is a pano moonroof. I see a lot of people complaining that the CRV does not have a pano moonroof. RDX is the reason, because it's powerful, but I'm not gonna go on a tangent. Underneath that, you have a USB port and a USB-C port. I like that Honda's done that. You also have Qi wireless charging and a nice pad to put your phone. This one, of course, has a CVT. The hybrids have an eCVT, which, ooh, but I won't get started on CVTs. But Honda CVTs are actually pretty decent. You also have adjustable drive modes in this car, so you could go through normal, econ, and snow. Snow mode is a new mode for this. It just adjusts throttle response and also how the traction control is working. Behind all that, you have 2 cup holders, which are reasonably sized if it's a Coke can. And then this is the key fob, if you're wondering. It's a nice key fob. You have remote start on these as well, which is standard, I'm pretty sure now. The center console is pretty deep, and you have this, tray that can move forwards and backwards if it'll want to stay in. The armrest is nice and soft with stitching. This EXL does not have HomeLink. I've not been able to find it, so I think that's something that's been reserved for the sport touring. But it is hot and we need to go inside, so let's drive.
Old school.
Old school, like a grandpa. You guys can watch. You guys remember back in the day when your parents were using maps? We're going to do that. 14.2 miles, 19 minutes. We don't have to do the whole thing. This does feel different than the last gen CR-V. It feels like it rides better. The steering is more responsive. I've not really gotten into any of the modes, but there's no sport mode in this car. The road noise is not too bad. I'm only doing about 40 right now, but it's not too bad. The steering is not too bad. Let's see mid-range power. It's not bad. It's not bad, and the engine is quieter. Honda did say that they retuned the CVT, so it's supposed to feel a little bit smoother, and the engine's supposed to feel a little bit torquier because they improved the torque curve. A lot of companies right now talk about the torque curve. I wave, hi.
CR-V wave.
CR-V wave. Hey, hi. Let's see here.
Obsessed with torque curves.
I know. Let's do wide open throttle. I mean, it's not terrible, but I don't know if it's faster or slower than the last gen. The brakes are nice. There's another CR-V. Robin Sophion told me to go this way. The CVT is not bad. I mean, like, if you're driving normally and you're not driving like a Putz, it's not too bad. But if you, I feel pretty comfortable, and the driving position is so much better. I have a lot better view of the road in this. We're on some twisty roads. Hello, Pathfinder, taking that corner wide. Let's see. Not bad. I mean, it does roll a bit, but it's not bad. I wish there was I don't wish there was a sport mode, because how many people would use a sport mode in a CR-V? Let's see about the cornering here. Wow, that's a tight corner. Oh, it pushes a bit. That's kind of funny. It takes corners pretty well, and driving it normally, not bad. It's a pleasant car. The CR-V has always been a pleasant and not the most powerful car in this segment. Something that I asked Honda PR was about a plug-in variant of the CR-V to compete with the RAV4 Prime. I think the Ford Escape even has a plug-in variant, but it is slower than the Prime. But Honda's, at least what they told me, is that they're primarily focusing on the Prologue, which is their electric crossover. I'm going to start from a stop. That's floored. $60. Count that for whoever. Oh my. It's not fast, and it's a CR-V. CR-Vs have never been fast. CR-Vs have kind of always been kind of slow. For most people, my dad has a CR-V. Hi, Dad. And he likes it. He does. Wow, it pushes around corners. This thing, wow. He likes his CR-V, but they're not fast cars. The steering is kind of slow for sporty driving. Oh, we're behind another CR-V. Let's catch up. Honestly, I was thinking that Honda would give this engine a little bit more power. Break 200 horsepower, because the RAV4 is at 203 with the gas engine. I don't know. This has always been an adequate powertrain, because they've needed out the oil dilution issues of the early versions of this 1.5. I'm very curious to test this out back home for a week and to see how the all-wheel drive system works, because I have to do that. I cannot get something with all-wheel drive and not use it,
You were right, this car would just eat highway miles.
Yeah, this and the Civic.
The seats are comfy. Oh, the Civic's. I love that Civic.
Yeah.
But this is plenty comfortable. It does feel wider.
Only a 1/4 inch wider.
How much bigger it feels as compared to the last gen.
I think it's
barely wider.
I think it's because of the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see more of the hood now.
But I like that.
Even SUV like.
Yeah.
It's not like a big Civic.
Yeah. It feels more like it should.
It is a comfortable. Yeah, like around corners, it pushes.
It pushes. Ooh, it pushes.
It pushes quite a bit.
But
it's not bad.
It's not horrible, and it's not like the car is mad at you.
No, it's just like, it's
the car's just kind of like, yo,
we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, let's reel it in.
Yeah,
because this car, it feels very well put together for what it is meant to do, which is to take people from point A to point B and get good gas mileage and be comfortable enough, be stylish enough. This one feels like the most succinct CRV that I've personally driven.
Good word.
Thank you. And it is impressively responsive for what it is. I will say I'm surprised about that. Like, pleasantly so. And
it doesn't feel as slow as it is. Yeah, see, around these corners it was like,
come on.
Yeah, it doesn't want to turn.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It really is the Newton's first law. An object in motion will want to stay in motion.
Oh, yeah.
It's now raining.
It is now raining.
So.
The video will end. So back onto the racetrack and into the heat. But today has been a fun day. I'm very glad that I've been able to show you this all new CRV because this is an important model in the lineup, and you guys seem to appreciate my old CRV videos when that came out in 2017. So this video, like I said, primarily focused on the gas model, but thank you for watching. I'm gonna let these SIs pass by. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, peeps.